Good morning everyone. This is my kind of first vlog, whatever you would call it. Today I'm actually starting on a new project I've been working on for quite a while of time, and it's something I'll be launching in like the new year. And it's a podcast that I'll be launching here in Dubai.
So when you have everything, when you have your dream car, you have your dream house, you got, let's say, $1 billion in the account.
So really looking forward to that. So basically, today we're going to do some filming. We're filming the first episode with a friend of mine, and now we're actually just going down because I forgot my computer in the car, so I'll bring it along. So basically today I am going into downtown to get this first episode done. Really looking forward to that. As you can see, of course, a mess in the car, what you would expect, but we got the computer. Really looking tired today. But basically I just wanted to test this new kind of way of doing videos, because I've been doing like the sitting down, talking smart videos for like quite a while, and wanted to try to make like stuff a bit more personal, just like a regular day in my life. So probably today also just going to be like a bit off, but you'll see. So now, as you can see here, just done shooting at a friend of mine's office. Really a interesting episode. I really look forward to actually launching this episode. And basically that's kind of what we did now. Is just like took like 1 hour approximately. So it's 1 p.m. now, and now probably go to Dubai Mall, just have some lunch and have some fun. It's Sunday, so usually I don't like work like that hard on a Sunday because there's so much to do like Monday to Friday, so just kind of one more off, kind of relax the brain and get like ready for the new week. That's kind of the as you can see here, the setup we was working with. This episode is really going to be interesting. I really look forward to launching this, and let's move on. So guys, just got back from Dubai Mall and just had dinner, and now it's just bedtime. So thank you for watching this video, and also please go and check out the podcast episode with Pascal. It's just launched today, so I hope you will take a listen. Have a nice day. So, welcome to the first episode of a business trip to Dubai. This is with a friend of mine. I've really been looking forward to talk to him today. He's a client of mine, also a friend of mine. He's working in like the coaching space for a really long time. He's really good at it. And now he's living in Dubai, and really looking forward to hear his entire story, what got him to the place he is today, and basically hear what he got to say.
You are now arriving at Dubai International Airport.
Welcome to you, Pascal. Really nice to have you on.
Thank you, Jeppe. And thank you for the great words. A pleasure being here with you.
Yeah, definitely. No, so really, if you could just in the beginning here, just like kind of give a small introduction of yourself. Who are you? What you do, etc.
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Pascal Jacobsen. I'm 27 years old and I live here in Dubai. And actually right now we're sitting here on my office. I've been living here for 1 year now, 1 year and a month to be accurate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it has been a really fun journey so far, to be honest.
And tell a bit more about your businesses. So what do you do, what do you work with, stuff like this?
Yes, so right now I'm running 2 businesses here in Dubai, but worldwide. So I'm running it from Dubai, but it's basically coaching. So what we're doing is, in Denmark specific, we have a coaching course who helps other coaches to grow their companies. Primarily starters, companies, and people who want to go to next level, and how do I actually sell my product, and how do I brand, and all these basic things that can be hard from the start. So we're teaching other coaches to go out and be coaching coaches for other coaches.
Okay, that's an interesting business. And so now you're 27, living in Dubai. So what was really the beginning of your like entrepreneurial journey? Where did it start? What was your like kind of first business?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think if you ask my mother, she will tell that while the other guys in the kindergarten was playing around doing stuff, I was sitting there trying to sell my old stuff. So it have always been a thing for me to go out and sell and try to build a kind of company, deep subconscious. But then I started my first company when I was 15 years old, PMN Property Service. You know, the classic one, running around in my mother's friend's garden and stuff. So I've been trying a lot of companies my entire life, to be honest. Then when I was about 18 years old, 19 years old must be, I had my first really breakthrough with a company.
Yeah.
So all the other companies have been more like learnings, but here we created a company called Smart Blee, so like smart diaper in English.
Yeah.
And the concept was that instead of people going out there to buy their diapers for their children, they just pay one monthly payment on subscription, and then we will send the diapers on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And we didn't know so much about like marketing and all that stuff, but it turned in to be a really, really good organic business from the start.
Yeah.
It was me and two guys from high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was my first really breakthrough in a company that I created by myself.
Yeah, I find that really interesting. Also because I feel like a lot of times in the beginning, when you've like your first company is always something like pretty basic. It's always something like you just figured out, like you saw, okay, there's this problem. Okay, how can I solve this? I feel like that's really the basis of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And from that first company, how did you kind of move on and transition into what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I think I just want to mention that the biggest, because I really love that company, I still do today, it's a lot of years ago now, but I remember that one big learning I got from that is always remember when you have a company to look on your teammates before.
Yeah.
Because this was my really good friends, and to have really good friends doesn't mean that it's also the right to be in a company together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a little tip for all the guys out there. Yeah, so then it was like more like a journey. That was my first. We sold it. We did an exit on the company after a year.
Yeah,
smaller exit. So it's not like, okay, now I can settle down for the rest of my life. But it was a nice experience, and it was also a kind of cadeau to myself. Like, okay, I can actually do like all my experience have now turned into something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then life turned on to. I went back to a normal job. Was there for about 2 years. Took some education again. But always with a kind of side business. I still try to like build something that I could be 100% focused into.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I have always been like really interested in nutrition and training and fitness in general. And so I took a new education and went into nutrition in general, and wanted to teach other people about nutrition and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I created my company actually. And the thing was, I didn't know anything else here than nutrition and how to build a small business. But my plan was to go really all in for it, right? So, but I just had this feeling, intuition that more like, don't go with the money, go with what you really would love to do.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I quit my really, really good job. I had a normal job, but it was really good paid. Yeah. Everybody will tell me, why did you do that, Pascal? You cannot leave from this. I was at that moment 22 years old, 23 years old maybe, and was only working with seniors in the middle of Copenhagen in Denmark, and just got a promotion to be there and have a really good salary, and everybody was like, why would you leave that now?
Yeah, of course.
And I was just like, because I do not wake up in the morning and feel like, wow, this is what I really would love to do, and I'm not really learning anything anymore, so why would I be here? Yeah. The answer would only be because of the money, and I don't want to work only because of the money. Yeah. I would work so much with something I love, so I would see the money and a byproduct growth into enormous. If that makes sense, right?
Sense. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And one of the things you said was like that you need to work with something that you love, because then money will come eventually. Yeah. So how do you feel that kind of represents what you're doing right now? That you're doing what you love, but it's also making you a lot of money.
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. So we always go with the people first in the company we're doing now. I have a really good example today, actually in the morning here. A client of mine who is in my course asked me, because we're having a workshop here in the start of January. Yeah. And he asked me if another coach could buy a ticket for there.
Oh, okay.
And what we're doing right now is we're giving the tickets for free for only members, members only. So only the people who are in the course can come to this live workshop. Yeah. And he asked then if her friend, who was also a coach, could come here and be at the event. And the thing I've always said to all the clients there, said it will only be for members. So I say, like here, what you would do if you only think about the money, you would say, yeah, of course, you will find a price and you just sell a ticket, right? Yeah. But you need to have a kind of standard when you're also saying something. And then we're just like, hey, sorry, my friend, we're not selling tickets. It's for members only. And that's again like having a high value for the people in the course. It's only for you. So it's always having the people in front line and not the money.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm 100% sure, because I've seen that now several years now, that in the longer term it will give you more money.
yeah.
To
So
have a high
instead of
standard.
focusing on like short-term gains,
Yeah.
I could maybe do this today and then I'll have more money tomorrow. But maybe that won't actually bring me like a lot of money in 5 or 10 years.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Now that's really interesting. And so if we kind of get a little bit back to like the year and a month ago. So that was when you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
What was kind of your thought process behind that before actually taking like the step and actually moving?
Yeah, good question. So at that time, I was running a consultancy business where I consult other bigger kind of coaches.
Yeah.
So I mentored coaches who coaches a lot of people.
Yeah,
It's
that's a lot of coaches.
A lot of coaches, yeah. So we have one big coach, and he was coaching a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
So he does coach, and then I'll coach him how to kind of build up some kind of sales, how to build up the system in his company. So it's more like consultancies.
Yeah,
And then I had also one client down here in Dubai. And at that moment, to be honest, I was earning so many money, to be honest. And I was sitting there and thinking, I'm right now 25 years old, soon 26 at the moment. I was looking out, I remember, on a rainy day in Herlev, where I live.
yeah,
I was looking out on a rainy day, working from my computer. And that's all it takes for me. I could only be with my computer. And I've never really asked myself that question, but I did there, saying, why am I actually sitting here right now?
yeah,
Why I'm sitting here on a rainy day in Denmark when I could be wherever sorry, my question and language I want to be.
yeah, exactly.
And then it took a month from that thought then for me to sit in Dubai.
Oh, okay, that was quick.
That was quick. So yeah, but like I have always like known that I wanted to go somewhere else, or I wanted to explore the world, and I've always been traveling a lot. But to take the step and actually move, I think it was just like a subconscious thought turned into a conscious thought, because I was sitting there and then suddenly hit me with the rain view. Like, I don't want to be here.
No, exactly.
I want to go to a place where it's warm, where it's nice, where it's like company great, kind of, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's interesting. And also because what I say, and when I talk to people, I say I moved and I did this. For some people, I feel like they think it's like too unrealistic. Like they can't even imagine actually go ahead and doing it. And I feel like a lot of people is actually kind of making the amount of money needed to do so. But they just like, it's just so hard for them to actually say to themselves, okay, I can actually just go ahead and do this. There's so many limitations and paradigms that kind of keep them away from doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
So were you just like, exactly, okay, 1 month I'll just move? Or was there any like thoughts kind of keeping you back, like not actually going ahead and doing it?
No, there will always be, but at that moment I was so long in my journey and my career that it was an opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think for what you talk about here, the first thing you need to focus on is like believe, right? You need to start and believe, like, okay, I can actually go to a place where I can earn so many money, or just enough money. It doesn't have to be a lot of money, but enough money to actually go and live my life. It's individual and different. Like, what are your dream life?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are looking up all the other guys, but I think it's important. Like, sit down, look on yourself, look in the mirror if you have to, and then tell yourself, what is it that you really want to do?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, straight in, straight out, exhale, and say, what is it that you really want to do in your life, right? Like, a lot of people have never asked themselves that question.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, begin to plan, okay, how would I do that? First, okay, maybe I need a job where I can work from wherever it is, wherever I want, if I want to live from another country.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not. You can also move to Dubai and work for someone else. That's also an opportunity. So you doesn't have to do it like everybody else. So I think first step is believe. Believe it can, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
Then from there, you need to also like build a plan and break it down.
Yeah,
really important, right?
No, I think that's really true, and also I think for a lot of people they kind of they make it way more complex and hard to actually move out than it actually is.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to say that just from my own experience, I also had like some issues moving out. So did you experience any like big issues, any like trouble actually moving, or was it kind of stress free for you?
I would say, of course, my family and stuff. I have the biggest thoughts I have about, okay, maybe this is going to be hard, was about my family and my friends, my good friends, of course. Like, what would I do from here? How can I see them? How often? But because I'm so lucky that I can just work from my computer and stuff. I can just go home.
Yeah.
Like imagine it's 6 hours from Denmark to Dubai, right?
Yeah.
If I lived in the one end of Denmark and needed to visit my mother in the other end, it will be 7 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's only about perspective. How do I put it up? Like it sounds so much longer away to live in Dubai than actually living in Skagen compared to the other end of Denmark, right? But in the end, it's just going on a flight for me. And I needed to work on that. But it was from the start the feeling about how do I see my family? How do I see my friends? Will I regret this in the longer term?
Yeah.
And then of course you need to have some money to go to Dubai, and there is something like all the thing. How do I run my company? How do I create my company license? Where shall I live? I don't know anything about the good places in Dubai, and so of course there have been something, but I think it's important to don't let the fear and let the thoughts take over all this stuff. Like sit down and then again, all right, debrief, say how do we fix this?
Yeah, exactly.
If this is what I want to do, I will do it. But how do we do? You never know how. You always know what you want to do.
Yeah.
The how will come, and the how will always change.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's really true, and I think that's something that could really help a lot of people in like really a lot of instances in life is basically writing down what you want to do and how you want to do it, because it becomes more simple and it seems more easy to do it. But when everything is just like inside of your head, like I want to move to Dubai, I want to start this business, it just fills up your mind and you can't really concentrate on like doing anything basically. So instead you'll just end up kind of doing nothing, because it's way too hard for you to actually see, okay, this is realistic, because you don't know exactly what you'll have to do, but you just know what you want to do. So I think that's really good. So one of the other things I was really interested in talking to you about, because this is also something I experienced for myself. So how do you feel like the business has grown with you actually moving out from Denmark and moving into Dubai? Like what has made the business grow? Is it your mindset? What do you feel has make a bit difference for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So there's no doubt about that my business has been growing really much, like really much. It was going really well before. Now it's just going really well.
Yeah.
And we're only looking also in the future for even better results. There's no doubt about that. But what I can see is that the rule number one is focus.
Yeah.
Focus. And I have always been good at focusing in general. But being here alone from the start just took me away from. There was no opportunities to go out in the Saturdays. No opportunities for going out eating with someone on a Tuesday evening. A friend called me, hey, shall we see football tonight? So that left me over with so many more hours. And what would I love to do with them? Work, because I love to work. I love my business,
Yeah.
So I was working so much more, not harder, but just putting more hours into my business. Of course, thought-wise, I was thinking about how can we build it bigger, but also more execution.
No, yeah, I think that's really true. And also, like, I feel like just getting here, your mindset kind of changed.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the good things I learned from moving here is that, what you thought was like a lot of money, or what you thought was like, this is success. You just get here in Dubai and you just have a look at all the other people. And they're doing like the same amount of monthly revenue that you're doing, but they're just doing it every single day. So I feel like it's just like such a level up, because
everything is bigger. Like right now I'm sitting here looking at Burj Khalifa, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When I'm sitting from my desk looking at Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really hard not to think big thoughts.
No, yeah, right? That's crazy motivation.
Yeah, that's crazy motivation. And also another thing is, like, as you said before, right now I'm having a Jaguar XJ luxury. Nice car.
Yeah.
Really nice car. If I took it to Denmark, it would be a really, really nice car, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm driving here, it's like standard. Yeah. Because every day you see a Rolls Royce, you see a Lamborghini, so it's not because it's a bad car, but everything is just so much more next level.
Yeah, no.
So you are raising your standard also, subconscious.
Yeah. And I think that's really important. I feel the same way as well when I'm driving my Porsche. Is that I'm not even feeling like it's anything special. It seems
nice
so normal.
Though. It's nice Porsche.
Thank you. No. So one of the interesting things you said was about like the distractions.
Yeah.
Because I hear like people when they move like from either city to city, country to country, they say like distractions kind of get removed and it helps them keep focus. And I think, as you mentioned yourself, like focus is one of like the key factors in order to actually become successful.
Absolutely.
But how do you feel like now? Because now you've lived here for like a year, you're starting to get like new friends and there's a lot more stuff to do basically. So how do you like stay focused now?
Yeah, and that's a good question also. So we have come now to a place where we have employees. I didn't
Yeah.
have that before I moved. So of course I can outsource more of the things we need to do in the business.
Yeah.
But also structure. I think that's the key. Focus and how to make sure that your focus is structure.
Yeah.
So I'm running my calendar really straight. Not that you need to do it in a robot kind of a way, because it's really important also to be human, like feel where am I in my life and stuff, etc.
Yeah.
But I'm every day when I wake up after my morning routine, I will go to my office here and I will look at my calendar. What do I need to do today, and what is the plan for today?
Yeah.
And I will never go on compromise for that. So that's kind of non-negotiable. So I have my business as first priority, and then I will plan. Even if I want to go out with a friend, we could say, okay, we have football in the Saturday night. Shall we do that? Yeah, okay. It fits in my life. It fits in my calendar. I will put that into my calendar then.
Yeah. No, basically.
And then I have been trying a lot of different kind of things in general. But what I can see also is, as I said before, it's important also to feel and be in the now and the present and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if a friend will call me right now and say, hey, shall we go out? Maybe it's not the best timing. But I'm still open for doing things in the present if it's possible.
Yeah.
But I have my business as number one.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. And also that's one thing I experienced was that, of course it's important to work. It's important to like make sure you really put in like the work and the hours, but it's also really important to just let off some steam time to time, like go out for dinner, have a couple of drinks if that's what you want.
Yeah.
If that kind of helps you to relax your mind, and that kind of sets you up to focus again whenever it's time to do that.
Or some good sushi.
Yeah, exactly. No, like we did the other day. No.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's really interesting, really about the focus part, because I think when you go deep down into like, and this is the question I want to ask you, is that because you've coached so many people, and I think it would be really interesting to hear what do you feel is like the number one thing that you see in the difference between all the people you've coached, the people that end out becoming successful and the people that do not end out successful. What do you feel is like the number one thing that kind of differentiates them?
Yeah, that's really, really, really not even good, but also important question. So the answer is really easy to say. It's action.
Yeah,
absolutely, it's action. So what I see is people know that there's a lot of people who knows a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But there's really few people who actually go out and act on the stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody I can see, and everyone I've been working with now that goes out and get good results, is people who actually took my advice and implemented in their life. So I can be there with you as a coach. I can tell you what to do, and I can see things you maybe can't see right now because you have some blocked paradigms or something like that.
Yeah.
But in the end, you need to do it.
Yeah.
And the results only comes after actions.
Yeah, no, I think that's so true, and I think way too many people are like caught up in the, no, I need more knowledge, I can't start because it has to be perfect, and all these thoughts kind of keeping you away from doing it. So yeah, I think that's a really, really good answer, because
you need to you need to focus on where is it I want to go again, back to the goal.
Yeah,
like go back to your goal, build it down, break it down, and then look, okay, what can lead me closer to my goal right now?
Yeah,
it's okay. Knowledge is also power, but it's less power than action, right? Yeah. So you need to go out and say, okay, I have my goal here. I want to be there at this state or something like that. And then you need to, if you want to study something that makes you more clever about the goal.
Yeah.
Or something that you really love to do in your daily life when you're not on work, but not just study something because other people do it. Study something that helps you grow on your path and on your way, you know?
No, I think that's true. And also one of the things that I'm just thinking about is that, you know, when I've been talking with so many different successful people in so many different types of businesses, and one of the things I really see is that they are not actually all like really clever. They're not all like experts or stuff like this, but they basically just had like a set of skills, and then they just went out and they just like worked so hard on that specific thing.
Absolutely, you don't need to be clever. Yeah, you doesn't have to be clever in some kind of special degrees or something at all to have a good business. But it's the action part. Actually, a lot of people with a successful company, if you go out and ask them what was it actually you did, maybe they couldn't even answer you.
No, exactly.
They don't even know what they did because they just did it.
Yeah, exactly.
But what they really did was having, a mindset that was an action kind of mindset, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's really, really true. And so now, like when you've been coaching this many people, what is it for you that kind of drives you forward? Because I know that, of course, as you mentioned yourself, things is going really good. Like the amount of money you're making are like satisfying. So what is it that kind of keeps you going and keeps you pushing to achieve more?
So there's one really great thing. The greatest thing above everything in this kind of company is, of course, that you see people change.
Yeah.
You know, you look in someone's eyes and they tell you, I can't do this, but I really want to do this. And you think, if you believe in them,
Yeah.
and you see them after a year, after half year, something like, and they just maybe got the money they wanted, or they got better health, or they have a successful company now running, or what it could be, you know. But that's 100% my motivator.
Yeah.
I really love to see the change in people, because I experienced it in myself. You know, I was standing there, I remember, in my house, panting, like putting bottles in Denmark. You know, you put bottles into this automates to get money out.
Yeah.
Recycling kind of, and I did that to have money enough to pay my rent. And in that moment, I was just like, oh shit, that this. But I was doing it every day, and I was trying to build up the business, and all these small hacks that I have now created, because I've been there from the scratch, and I used so many years to build it up. You know, now I can give it to other people much easier, because they don't need to do all the mistakes that I did.
No, exactly.
And to help people with that and see them grow faster than me, but also sometimes bigger than me even. That's just amazing. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's an interesting point you make. And also what you said was that actually your first business you started when you were like 18, 19. But now you're 27. And it's really like, if you could say, it's like mostly in like the last 2 years, things has really started going good. Like really popping off. So I think that's an interesting point to make to like the people like listening to this, is that, you know, you can start 10 years ago and maybe it'll take you 7, 6 years, whatever, before you actually really start achieving things.
Yeah, exactly.
So also I think it could help a lot of people to actually kind of extend the time frame of becoming successful, because way too many people are just like kind of stopping themselves after 6 months working on one thing, and then they're like, this didn't work out. I'm not an entrepreneur. I can't do this. And then they just stop. Instead of thinking, okay, I should probably work on this for 3 years, 5 years. There's people working on like software companies for 10 years straight, making zero money, and then they just go in like insane, pop off in like 3 months.
Such a good point. Like I love this image, kind of picture where you see only the top of the mountain, but you don't see all the other things happening down under the water, right? There is so many things you need to do, and you need to learn to build a proper business. But always remember, like what I always remember from my path is not a failure. It's a learning. All the things is learnings. You know, you do. It's just like a paradigm now for me. I don't always know how I get to places, but I know I will just go there, and I will try. I will do things. Then we fail but we don't fail, but we learn. You know, and then we try something else. Like how can we then do it? So it's a really important point to say here. And success is not to just go out there, build $1 million company tomorrow. The success is you going to bed every evening and know that you made one step further to your goal. Yeah, that's the success. Way too many people are looking only in the bigger picture. Yeah. You need to have your goal, look at the goal, and when you go to bed every day, did you move closer? Yeah, exactly. Did you move closer? Did you talk to someone that know what you didn't know? Did you do this kind of action steps that you wrote down the evening before? Like if you're just doing some kind of action on a daily basis, you will get there at some point.
At some point, yeah. And that's why I think for some people it's just so tough, because if they don't kind of see themselves moving forward and feel like they're really progressing, they just kind of get like demotivated. So I think that's an interesting thing I wanted to ask you is like, I think I wouldn't say how do you keep yourself motivated, because I don't believe that you're always motivated, but how do you keep like a high baseline of focus and hard work? How do you maintain that?
Yeah, so for me, number one, of course, I love what I do, so it's easier, of course, instead of if I was doing something that I really didn't want to do. So number one rule, always build a company with something and you love. Do something you love, right? So that helps a lot of the motivation. But as you said, sometimes there will be days where I wake up and like, I don't want to work today. I don't want to do this today, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that I've just put my standard so high. I need to do this. And also one thing that I think you need to do is thinking of the results instead. Like imagine going to the gym. It's not everybody every day that wants to go to the gym, but the feeling after when you go out of the gym is nice, and which is really good, right? So I'm thinking always about the feeling when I've get this things done, when I got my task done, and when I've helped these people, when they're calling me and say, "Hey Pascal, wow, you just changed my life with this," or getting messages in the morning, and so I know, as I said before, action leads to results, and then I also know, and with that I also know that if I do this, that I know I need to do, something great must come out of it in the end.
No, I think that's interesting. Also, I want to kind of challenge you a bit, because I feel like a lot of the times when people are on podcasts and stuff, they just kind of agree on every single point, and they just kind of they talk each other like up. So I just wanted to kind of give you a challenge, and if you could explain to me, so why are you not more successful than you are right now? Like, what do you feel is kind of like, where did you make mistakes? Where could you have done a better job? Was there times where you didn't like actually put in the work, like where you could see, okay, I'm actually not doing a good enough job because I'm not like actually doing what I'm supposed to do?
I'm so perfect that I can't answer to that question. No, just kidding. Of course, there will be things always, because we can always grow, right? And that's a part of the journey in life in general. And for me, that's what life is about. It's about learning and be even better on all areas that you want to be better at. I think actually, to be honest, is this question in business perspective or in general?
No, like the business, because we always, like you and me, or sometimes we discuss the like goals and sorts of like revenue, all this stuff. So I think it would be interesting to kind of have the thought behind, why am I not like in where I want to be in a year? Why I'm not there today? Is it simply because I am like it's impossible? Or what could I do like better to actually achieve it in 6 months instead of doing it in 12 months?
Yeah. I would say actually, to be honest, so we are where we want to be goal-wise here in the end of the year. So we achieved every goal. But what we could have done was to have bigger goals, I think. I think when I moved to Dubai, I took my goal a little too low, because I was thinking about all the things I need to do when I move here and stuff. So I could have been having bigger ambitions for myself. Like I do believe in myself, absolutely, but I could have been, double the amount of what we wanted to do and set that as a goal. So we really need to do also, like we need to do more, not in a rushy way, but
no, exactly.
I'm sure that we could have been even more productive with our stuff on a daily basis if the goal have been there.
I think that's true, and also I think I see this for myself as well. Is that you usually, let's say you set like high expectations, but and then you'll maybe, if you do a really good job, you'll maybe hit your high expectations. But something that's like really changed my perspective is that not only have high expectations, but if you have like insane expectations, expectations that they are like,
you have to go there.
Yeah, there may be only like 2% chance that you'll actually reach them.
That's where you want to go.
Yeah,
you need to go to a place where it feels so unrealistic, because that's where you're going to give that extra, that the power within you, kind of.
Yeah,
right?
No, exactly.
So I agree on that, and I could have done that also.
No, I feel like I could have done that myself as well, because like my business, we've like really seen insane growth like the last 2 to 3 months, but before that we were maybe growing like 5-10% every month. But like now in the last 3 months, we probably doubled our revenue. So like I think, and that's for me, I moved to Dubai in August. So I think like for me, it's just all about the mindset. And you have helped me to do that as well, because when you said, okay, I wanted to make this amount of money for like the next 10 weeks. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm looking to make this year. So it's all about the expectations. And if you could really like, and without actually just repeating what everyone else says, but like the people you surround yourself with is really important, and not only in regards to what they do, but in regards to their expectations. Because if you're around a guy doing kind of the same business as you, but his expectation is like 10x from your own, you'll probably think, okay, if he's doing 10x, then I could at least aim to do 5x, because our business is maybe even at the same point. And I think you could move yourself so much more forward if you do like what Grant Cardone says, like the 10x thing. If you do this year's revenue and you say, so okay, if I want to do 10x next year, what do I need to do? And then you'll probably not hit 10x, but you'll maybe hit 3x. And I think that's at least almost as good, because of course it's unrealistic.
And it goes back again to perception. Like if something feels big, how do I get it feel like so it feels smaller? you match it up with something even bigger.
Yeah, no,
So
exactly.
if I have a small block A, that's where I am now, and I'm taking a bigger block B, and B feels big, right?
Yeah,
But if I take a C block and make that even bigger,
yeah,
then the B is suddenly really small.
yeah,
So it's all about perception, and you need to be good at that, because like there's so many people out there that have getting X amount of money, X
yeah,
amount of
yeah, yeah,
cars. If
exactly.
that's the goal, X amount of health. It depends, of course, of the goal. So of course you can do it. Of course you can do it, but you need to start believe it.
Yeah.
You need to start believing, and you need to break it down to smaller pieces.
Yeah, no, that's true. And another thing I think was really interesting I heard the other day was that like people always go about this idea that they are like the best version of themselves. They want to become the best version of themselves. And what I really heard and what I really thought of afterwards was that a guy, he said that you're actually the lowest expectation that you can put onto yourself, but still accept that's really who you are. So you are like the bare minimum that you can accept for yourself, and that's why I think the expectation part is so important, because
Yeah, that's true.
it's really about, it's not about moving towards the top, it's really about moving the bottom up. Because if you keep on moving like your lowest, like the worst, like better and better and better, then even on your worst day, you're putting in 3 hours of focused work.
Yeah.
That's better than having days like a full week where you're doing nothing, and then next week you're working 80 hours. It's a lot better to have like the baseline focused.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree on that.
So here, you're at the point you are now, and of course you've really become successful. But if you should kind of, what would you say to a person that were in your position, maybe like 8 years ago, starting out? You've probably tried out 1 or 2 types of businesses. You aren't really successful. What would you kind of say to them for them to actually get to a point where they can become successful like you are now?
Yeah, I would say, of course, as I said before, one, believe. I would also say there's no failures. Failures is learnings.
Yeah.
You need to, and also don't expect that you're going to win the whole game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, I remember that for myself. I was like, I'm just gonna do this and this, and then tomorrow I'm rich.
Yeah.
That's just not the case. Not for the most kind of people, of course. Maybe someone have won a lottery, something like that. But so I would say, go out there, believe in yourself. Don't expect yourself to win tomorrow, but expect yourself to win in the bigger term, in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And then go to bed every night. Look yourself in the mirror and say, did I do today what will bring me closer to my goal?
Yeah.
Did I do that? If not, why? Self-reflect. Don't just let your thoughts take over.
No, exactly.
Try to sit down actually and think about the things you're thinking about. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes good sense.
And also, why am I doing what I'm doing? Like a good meme was also, I saw here the other day, like the things. Imagine you have this oven, fire oven, right?
Yeah.
Someone expects, sitting there in the cold winter, expecting fire to come out, with not putting things and wood into the fire oven.
Yeah.
You need to. And then the second part, the part number 2 would put a little wood into the fire oven and expect a lot of warmth to come out.
Yeah.
And then there's the one that understands, as more I put into this fire oven, as more will come back.
Yeah.
As I said before, action leads to results. So you need to do something. And I understand people could have studies, people could have work also on the side business. They want to explore life, going out in the weekends, and all that is okay. But just know, you put less wood into the oven, less warm would come out. And don't put that into, I just need to grind hard all the time, right? But be smart, sit down, reflect, look on yourself, say, why is it that I'm not moving closer to my goal now?
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And then I also think where a lot of people kind of fails is that they, instead of starting to do the action part, they like keep themselves in a loop of like, I need more info, I need more knowledge, I'm not clever enough. So instead of actually just, and I had this talk with a friend just the other day, was that too many people are so caught up in getting more knowledge and I need to be more clever, I'm not clever enough to do this. Instead of actually, and an interesting thing for myself was that when I started like pushing new services in the marketing agency, I didn't even know how to do them. I was like, I was selling Google ads before I knew how to do Google ads. But I knew that if I sold it to someone and they paid me for it, then I would have to learn it. I would have to figure out how can I do this stuff. So I think you should do like action and then learn, instead of do you learn and then action, because otherwise you'll end up never doing action, and you just keep on learning and learning.
Yeah.
And so many people, especially in my space, like the agency space, they are so caught up in, I need the new coach, I need like the new online course to teach me the last things to push me over the edge so I can actually succeed.
Yeah.
And it's just because people are just like, it's so easy to lie to yourself and say, I'm just missing this one thing, and then I'll get to the point. Then I'll start growing. Then I'll start working so hard. But I need this one big fun thing before I can do it. And so they end up actually never actually doing that thing, because they just keep them in the loop of, I need more knowledge. I need more knowledge.
Yeah, you need to go out there and act, and don't be afraid. And again, go back to it's learning. It's not failures. You go out and fail. Go out and fail, because you will learn. Failures is the best knowledge you can get, actually.
No.
Because then you start learning, and you know, okay, I'm not going to do this next time I'm building a business. I remember once I started a business, we sold champagne and stuff on the internet. That was my first really successful company, and I say successful with not earning money company. So we sold for X amount of money, but we didn't earn anything. So what I learned there in the age of 19 there was, okay, when you create a business and start selling, you need to know, do I actually earn money on my product?
I think that's an important notice.
Right? So that was a big mistake, a lot of people say, but for me it was a great learning. So next time I build a company, I knew that, right?
Yeah.
And when we go back, talk about fear, I would also say one thing that is really important is, like, again, analyze what is it that I'm afraid of? And then you need to do it. If it brings you closer to the goal, you need to do it. I remember my first conveying, I was standing, I had a coach there, and one of my goals was I wanted to stand in front of a lot of people and talk and convey. And I remember I was so afraid about it. So afraid, like standing there and in that moment in front of 50 people, talking and conveying. I was like, oh shit, how am I going to do this, you know? But I knew I needed to do it. I knew it would someday be a part of my whole company and my dream life and all this stuff. So I needed to do it. And then it took me about 7 days from when I took the decision, and I was standing in front of 50 people. Conveying, and it was really like not fun up till, but when I was standing there, it was so nice, it went so good, and I was just prepared. And now I've been standing in front of like 550 people last month, 2 months ago and stuff, you know. So it have only been better and better and better because of I took that one action. Instead of sitting there thinking, I'm afraid of that, I'm not going to do it. No, I was thinking, I love to do it. I would love to do it. I need to do it. It's going to be a part of my future life. So I'm going to do it.
I think that's a really good point. And yeah, one of the things I really also want to do with this podcast, and this is one of my last questions for you, is that, you know, I want to show people how realistic it is to actually create your own dream life. And I think, like, for a lot of people, it's a lot easier to kind of lie to themselves and say, okay, I can't do this, I can't do this. Because if you say to yourself, you can't do it, then it's pretty easy for yourselves to accept that, okay, I'm probably not just going to do it then. So what would you say, like, moving to Dubai, stuff like this? Because I feel that's a question I get all the time. It's like, how did you do it? All this stuff. So just to give like one good advice on moving to a new country, doesn't have to Dubai, what would you say? Would you just say, jump out and go do it? What is like your best advice?
Yeah, I would say, of course, just jump out and do it. But before you do it, feel if this is what I really want to do. If you just got this feeling, this is what I want to do, like, then ask yourself, why do you want to do it? Is it because of the freedom? Is it because everybody else is doing it? Or is it because you really want to do it? And I think that's important. That's important. Why am I doing, and why am I wanting to do this? Is it because of everybody else, or is it because of it's something in me, some learnings something I want to explore and stuff, you know?
I think that's important. Also, is it my ego that just wants kind of more recognition, so I'll move to a place that looks good?
So you can post on Instagram and people can get more likes.
So my stories
don't do that. That's bullshit. Don't do that. That's bullshit.
No, exactly.
That's bullshit. Don't do that. Do it because you would want to learn something. Do it because you want to get something out of it. Do it so you can sit there when you're 80 years old to your grandchildren and tell them good stories about the country you lived in and all the things you did in your life.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think, like, you kind of owe it to yourself. Like, if you have it in your mind and you really want to do it, and you've been thinking, I want to move out of the country, you know, I feel like you let yourself down if you really don't go ahead and do it. And I had an interesting thought just behind this that my girlfriend asked me the other day, so if I died tomorrow, would I regret anything? And then actually really I had like sit down and actually thought about it, and then I was like, I kind of wouldn't. Because I've never said anything to myself that I want to do this, I want to try to do this, and not done it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, and I think you kind of help yourself like live a lot better life if you every single time. It was the same thing with this podcast for me, is that I just kind of postponed it a bit because I was nervous. Are people going to listen? Is it going to be bad? Is it like what's going to happen with it? So just kind of pushed it away. And then one day I like woke up and I was like, I want to do this. Like I really want to do this. So instead of me saying, okay, next year is a good time to do it. Then I was like, okay, I'll text 5 guys today. Are you able to do this in December? Let's do it. So I think
and here we are.
Yeah, and now we're doing it. So I'm happy we're doing it now, because otherwise I would probably, after when I came back, I was like, I should have started this in December. It was the same for me with social media. I really started pushing things for YouTube and my social media in like September. And when I went to when we went through like September, got into October, I was like, why didn't I do this like in January? Because I already started seeing so many benefits from it. I like it a lot. I got so much value from it myself only. And then also giving out value to other people. So I think that's really great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Great, Pascal. So I think that was actually everything today. I was really, really nice having you on. I think this was a really good conversation, like business and, getting successful, moving to a new country, all this stuff. And I think it's like we are both successful and like in different ways, but it's so important to kind of share that knowledge and share the information about you can become successful and you can do this stuff. And right now, maybe you can't do it right now. You probably can't move next month. But if you really put your head down and start doing stuff, then you can actually achieve this. Absolutely. So I think that's a really important thing to like get away from this.
That's so true. And just one last thing when you're saying this about success, because that's a really great point also to put out there. I think also it's really important to look again on yourself and say, what is success for me?
Yeah.
Like you don't need to do this or that or this because everybody else is doing it. Do it because you wanted to. So something so deeply inside of you that there must be a must, a why, something that is so big, because you need that in the longer term.
Yeah. And there's so many social like expectancies of what is success and what does it look like. And people get so caught up in, and I actually said this in a YouTube video the other day, was that do you want to like become successful because you want to travel, you want to have a nice car because then you can show it on Instagram, or do you want to become successful because you would like to sit at home with yourself? Like only like a good question to ask for yourself, and I thought about this, is that would I want the same amount of success if I couldn't show it to anyone? Like would I care about money in the same way I do right now if I couldn't show anyone or tell anyone how much money do I have?
Yeah, that's really great.
Am I doing this for myself or am I doing this for anyone else?
Yeah, and then also just to mention a last thing here, when we talk about goals, a lot of my clients always say, I don't know what my goal is. And a really good answer to that, because what you said before is, so when you have everything, when you have your dream car, you have your dream house, you got, let's say, $1 billion in the account, just to make it really really big. When you got all this stuff, you wake up here in your dream house, in your dream bed. When you go out of your bed, where do you go? Boom. Sit there and think about that. When I got everything in my life, where would I go then? When I go out of my bed, when I go out of my room door, where would I go? Where would I go? And when you know that answer, start. Then you have the right answer. Because then we would do it not because of the money, not because of the thing. You would do it because there's a kind of passion deeper inside you.
And I think also it's so important. I think that's a good exercise, because I think it's really important that you decide that before you become successful is, what am I going to do when I am this successful? What am I going to do when I have 100 million in my bank account? Because I think what happens for a lot of people is that if they don't decide that before it happens, they'll end up at 100 million thinking, I need 200 million. Instead of thinking, okay, now I hit the point, now I'll change my life, I'll do this. Because like you can say that, I can say it also. You think, okay, when I get to 100k a month, I'm happy. And then you get to 100k a month and then you're like, I didn't really hit it. I didn't really hit it. But when I get to 250k a month, then I'm really happy.
Because you're always chasing something.
Exactly. So I think that's a really good point. But let's end on that note, Pascal. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really nice.
Likewise. And, pleasure being here with you.
And thank you so much, guys, for listening. This was one of the first episodes. There will be going out episodes once a week. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll listen to the next one as well.